don't really feel the need for a meat substitute. But for those who are transitioning, it makes the transition a lot easier if you're seeing that you have something for your taste buds, your texture, and you want something that's tasty. So for those who are interested in having a meat substitute during your transition, this is an easy one to make. And
very easy.
Yes, it's very. I looked at the ingredients list and I thought, oh no, it's too much. But it's just a little dab of herbs and spices here and there, which makes it delicious. So that's what I'm going to be demonstrating today. So, okay, so first I'm going to start off with our bulgur wheat. This is what we used. Bulgur wheat, it's very easy to cook. It's actually quite cost effective, especially if you're going down to the ABC down the road. Very cost effective. A lot of these things you can get for a great price at the ABC.
Or even you can go to Shaw's or Hannaford and just one bag for $1. It's a pretty good bag for $1.
Bulgur wheat.
Yeah. Bulgur wheat. It's wheat, it's whole wheat, but it's just different from the crack wheat. The bulgur wheat is pre-cooked, so it cooks faster. And the crack wheat is just totally raw. But it's basically blé, you know, for Haitians. It's blé. That's what it is.
Okay, so I'm going to take 1 cup, which I already prepared. You can either soak it or you can cook it. You can cook it a little bit if you'd like to.
So what did you do with this one now?
So this one, what I did was I soaked it and I cooked it just to make sure there was no graininess, you know, because, you know, I was going to be feeding it to others. So to make sure it was as soft as it could be, I soaked it for a few hours, and then when I was ready to cook it, I slow cooked it, and then until it was fairly
It gives
dry.
you, because she made it the first time it was delicious, but the texture was grainy because this was not cooked very much. But I know most people don't like to have too many chunks in their sausages, so she decided, wait, let me cook it a little longer so that it can be more soft, so that's what she did.
Okay, so I'm going to take 1 cup of the bulgur wheat. And then I got oat flour. Now I ran out of oat flour, which is also very cheap, but you can just take some oats and just put it in the blender, and it's easy.
You grind it with nothing, just oats and you got oat flour. Just blend it.
Yep. Okay, so I've got half a cup of that. Then I'm gonna take some pecans right here. So some pecans here. I bought it as pecan meal, which is already ground up, or you can take the pecans and you can blend them as well, or in a spice blender. So I'm going to take 4 tablespoons of this.
And this adds a lot of protein to the dish, because pecan, it's a nut, and it has a lot of protein, it has a lot of iron, and it adds that nice texture to it, that flavor. So in that dish already you have a complete protein, because a lot of people may say, well, a total vegetarian diet you will not get a complete protein. But when you combine a grain with a nut, or a grain with a legume, with a bean, you get a complete protein. And that's what happens here, because here you have the wheat and the oats, they're grains, and you combine them with the pecans, it makes a complete protein with all the amino acids that you need.
Nice.
So for this recipe, we're not going to be using salt, we're going to be using soy sauce. So I'm going to take 1 tablespoon, just 1. I'm going to put that in.
You said no salt?
No salt.
She's using soy sauce because it has enough salt to it. So it's best to just go with that instead of putting both. Then it will be overly salty. Yeah.
But I would say, you know, it's for your transition. Once again, this is not something that you would use often, and if you can actually go away from using it, I would do so.
Ideally, for us, because we're not picky eaters at all, we'll just use sea salt and we'll be happy with that.
So I'm going to use half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then a teaspoon of onion powder. Okay, so sage, it's an herb that a lot of people like to put in their substitutes. For some reason, it gives a little bit of that meaty flavor. So it's one thing you want to be sure to add.
And it's actually, people use it as an herbal tea too. And it helps darken your hair, for instance. You know, some women, they just make a tea out of it and rinse their hair with it. And it's also good for you internally.
You're using dried?
It has a lot of, what is it?
Using dried sage powder?
Yes,
okay. That's
what we're using. You can get it at the ABC and even any local stores where they have the seasonings.
Does it get rid of gray hair, no?
It helps your hair get darker. So ultimately, hopefully, it will do that. That's what they said.
Just for the record, you'll have
So I'm gonna use thyme and rosemary, but I have the whole leaf. Sometimes what I like to do is take all the spices and put it in the blender or a spice blender and grind it up, because some people don't like
to find
the leaves in there. But for this one, I'm not gonna blend it. I put half a teaspoon of each, one of thyme, one of rosemary. And then half a teaspoon of paprika. Here we go. Which is one of my favorite spices.
This one is a sweet paprika. It's just a sweet pepper.
Okay, so I put a little bit of that. Sometimes I add a little more. And then
that's Natalie. She's like, I add a little more. So
this is nutritional yeast. This is almost like for some people it can be like a vegan staple that you keep in your cabinets. It's good for cheesy flavors. If you love cheese, this is great to add, especially when you're doing your cashew cheese. And it has a good source of vitamin B12 for those who are worried about their B12. Even though many don't worry about it at all, but if you are, you can get some from here.
I thought we were supposed to stay away from like yeast.
Yeast?
Yeah.
Different type of yeast.
Yes, different type of yeast, but we can go over that afterward. Yeah.
So you got 1 tablespoon of that.
But you can do without it if you would rather do that. Some people like it because they like the flavor that it adds to the food. Like if you're making tofu and you put it in the tofu, it can make it really taste like eggs. People could be fooled if they don't know.
Okay. So now I'm just going to add a tablespoon of water to kind of make it bind a little more, and a tablespoon of olive oil.
We generally prefer to use olive oil, cold pressed olive oil. As we had the seminar at her church, we talk about avoiding corn oil and soybean oil, because often they can be genetically modified. And so we prefer to use olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, because it's natural and it's good for you. And canola oil, we would encourage you to stay away from it altogether, because as we said, there's not a plant called canola.
What is canola?
Because olive oil is made from olives.
Yeah, what's a canola?
What is canola oil?
Canada.
Exactly. It just stands from Canada oil. It's not made. There's not a plant called that way. It's actually made from rape seeds. It's made from rape seeds. Rape seeds.
Grape.
No, not rape seeds. Rape. Rape seeds. R-A-P-E.
And it's highly processed.
Yes, and it's made in industries. They use it to kind of like work with machines, but they don't want to throw it away. Then they use
It's motor oil.
technically,
Motor oil.
yes. So go for the extra virgin cold pressed olive oil. Far better for you.
So one of the things I wanted to add in was, I hear a lot about time management when it comes to eating this way. But typically what I like to do is, if I'm making a recipe, I won't make just one. I will double the recipe or triple it. And so when I'm making it for future time, or even when I have people who come, if somebody comes over all of a sudden, I can grab it from the freezer and I can pop it in the oven.
That's a very good tip for those who have a tight schedule.
Yeah. And then some people say they'll have a meal prep day where you just make tons and tons of things. And it's a good time to experiment. Yeah.
Just don't burn the kitchen though.
Yeah. Okay, so I need one person
to help us mix everything. And this can freeze really well. If you make the sausages, you freeze them, they're gonna stay there.
It's not like that.
No.
Actually, the ones that we ate.
don't like defrosted.
Do you guys large glass?
Well, the thing is, what we ate today was actually frozen. Oh, make it fire.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. I'm trying. The Lord is helping me. I can taste it. When you defrost it.
So typically, I don't feel like you really need.
I washed my hand earlier. Just so you guys know.
Earlier.
That's why we're having him wearing gloves.
Earlier.
He has gloves on.
Really worked my mind.
My clean freak, by the way.
So all he's gonna do is he's gonna mash it together and just just work it so that it
Mix all the ingredients together.
Yeah, there you go. Sometimes I'll go with a spoon first, but you can go ahead and get
You
into
just
that.
want to let him play.
He looks like he's having fun too.
I am having fun.
So I'm gonna heat up the skillet. You don't typically, I feel like you don't really need the oil because there's already oil in it. It has a little slip, but just for a demonstration, to make it show a little. Okay.
You can also make probably meatball out of it.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You can make burgers. I actually, while I was making it, I was experimenting.
I love
And for
burgers.
those who have,
Since she's making burgers, just get a bowl and make a turkey out of it. Let's
for
go.
those who are
Drumsticks,
gluten-free,
let's go.
Yes,
There's a
we
lot
got
here.
that.
yes,
Why?
for those who are gluten-free, I actually, it got mixed in with everything.
Yeah, we had some
But I
gluten-free
made one
ones.
with
Mhm.
millet rather than
Nice, the
the
burger.
bulgar wheat, and it came out.
It was delicious.
Yeah, you probably couldn't tell there was a difference,
Girl,
but it got mixed in with the other ones because we were going to have somebody here that was gluten-free, but didn't come. Okay.
Okay. So what do you want to do with
Yeah,
this?
that's what I
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna form them into whatever, I guess.
Whatever
you're
shape
looking
you
for.
want.
Whatever animal you feel like eating.
Exactly, exactly.
So I'm guessing we're gonna go with burger.
If you want sausages,
If you
you can
want
make
sausages,
sausages.
we can do that today.
Make meatballs.
You wanna make meatballs?
You want some
I'll
meatballs?
make you some burgers.
Yeah.
I want to see one sausage.
Okay, she wants to see a
So we
sausage.
got
Okay.
sausages, we got meat patty.
Alright, so I'll make the sausage. I have my board here.
I'll make what am I gonna make?
A
You
burger.
make me a meatball.
You want a meatball?
Make a chicken
Okay.
legs.
Meatball.
Chicken leg. You're gonna need a bowl.
Okay.
You're gonna need a bowl.
You want to make her an artist right now.
They'll put a stick in their face.
So I'm just rolling it, making it into
Play-Doh.
the sausage. Yes.
Let's play.
Play-Doh, and then I roll it a little bit with the palm of my hand so I don't put fingerprints, through
You're
it.
making dumplings, like.
Yeah.
Hey, we got your meatball here.
Ah, there you go.
Isn't that
It looks
easy?
like-
I'm
She
done.
was
looks
done
like it.
before
I'm
everybody
done.
else. That's why I said meatball.
I hope it's heating up.
Here,
Yeah.
you could finish this one.
That burner is mostly
And I got your burger right here, man.
Who wants a burger?
I got his burger.
Maurice was
There
a
you
bird.
go.
Nice.
Okay.
If you make it a little bit bigger, it's a hot dog.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like a spicy sausage.
I'm just saying.
I actually
We're
put a
getting
little
liberal
bit
here.
of cayenne pepper.
Yes.
Just for a little bit of a bite. Yeah, just a little bit.
So you put it on the outside?
No, in the
While
mix.
I'm mixing it, I put like a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper.
Not just paprika.
Yeah.
You know how it tastes like.
So, also, with this video, it's going to be posted on YouTube. But another thing that we posted, I noticed a lot of people like to eat their sausages and things with ketchup. So on our channel, we do have a homemade ketchup on there.
It's the same
What we served today.
Oh,
We served today.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Okay.
easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, without the high fructose corn
And it
syrup
tastes pretty
without
good.
the vinegar.
Okay, very good. Any questions?
Taste test after.
That was really easy. That was.
Yeah, it was easy, wasn't it? And imagine if you double or triple the recipe and you can make enough. You can even get your children involved. Get them to help you shape them and then you bake them. Put them in the freezer. When you're running to work and you don't want to go through McDonald's whatever they have drive-through, then you can just pull them out of your freezer.
Yeah. So you don't fry them, you bake them?
When you're.
You can bake
Fry or
them
bake.
or you can just do that on the stove. Whatever you choose to do, you can do it and then you freeze them afterwards.
They don't fall
Yeah.
apart if you fry them? They don't fall apart if you
We
fry
don't
them?
fry them
Okay.
typically, yeah.
Wait, so
But they would
Put
be
it like
fine.
this and you put them under the oven?
No, you can just do it on top of
instead of
like
like
that.
frying, like frying them, right?
I wouldn't say fry per se because if you look, she's using very minimal oil. She just
And you-
put it not to stick.
And
So it's,
you really don't even
searing.
need it.
That's what
I made a few of them where I didn't use any oil. It was because there's already oil in it. It kind of has a little slip to
Oh, yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
okay.
for a little added slip, sometimes
So you put the oil
scraping.
just for the slip?
Yeah.
Yes, but it's not for the purpose of frying or anything. Or otherwise, you can just put it under your. Yeah.
For how long?
This will take, I'd say maybe 10 minutes. 5-10
On
minutes.
top, on the stove top.
top.
It's longer in the oven.
How long?
Generally when I make oat burgers, they generally take half hour to be done. Yeah.
At what temperature? Like
I use 350, 375. Yeah.
She guesses all the time.
That looks right.
Comes back like cleaning. Looks good.
Yeah. Okay. So any other questions? Any other questions on how to go about it? I would say one other tip that I started, but I have to be more consistent at it, is the meal planning. Meal planning will make your life so much easier. I actually took some time apart on a Sunday and actually wrote out, okay, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have that, 2 meals a day. We do 2 meals a day, and so I made it for my breakfast and my dinner for the week. And so every morning I didn't have to think about what I'm going to have. And especially myself, I have more of a problem of keeping weight rather than losing weight. And so my thing is that I need to have the balanced diet. We all do. Whether you want to lose weight or you want to gain weight, but you want to have a balanced diet. And so for me, in order to keep my weight up, I can look at it and say, am I getting a balanced diet? Am I adding my grains? Am I having some healthy fats in there? Am I having my protein and such? And so I was able to do that, make some simple things. If I want a smoothie on this day, I want a fruit salad on the other day, and just plan it out during the week. And also, when I took some time out to make a bunch of meals, make a ton of rice. You could put it in the freezer when you're ready. Put some vegetables and whatever. Some quick things. And it made life so much easier. Yeah, I didn't have to think about it ahead of time and worry about what I was going to do. So that was one helpful tip that I found.
Very good. We hope you guys are inspired and that you'll be able to do this at home. It's very easy. As you saw, it's nothing complicated.